ACG Ifeanyi Samuel, and welcome to the Excellent Mindset. We'll be talking about a whole lot of things today. I want to also say thank you for the last video, the comments you did the last time, and a whole lot of things, the appreciation you showed to us in the Excellent Mindset. We thank you for all those things. I will say we are grateful. We love you too. Alright, that's one of the things we've seen. But today we'll be talking about a whole lot of things, and it's actually in a different format from the previous one. We'll be talking about things that concern our social lives, things that concern how we talk to people, the response we get, the way they react, how it disturbs us or how it doesn't. So today we'll be talking about the topic of criticism and correction. What's the difference between criticism and what's the difference? Why can I distinguish criticism from correction? How can I distinguish it? And what are their outcomes? So before we can talk about their difference, before we can distinguish them, we can actually, first of all, know what they are in their respective field. We will become specific, like we know what correction is, then we also know what criticism is. So by so doing, we will end up knowing what all of them are talking about. Then we can now pinpoint their difference. So sit back and you will see a whole lot of things. Thank you very much. So the first thing I would like us to see is criticism is an expression of one's opinion towards a fault, condemning it. Criticism condemns. So I'll use the synonym for the word criticism as condemnation. I wouldn't use the word trying to beat around the bush. Criticism condemns a fault. It figured out the fault, condemns it. It doesn't try to beat around the bush with it. We'll talk about another one. So you see, when we talk about condemnation, we are also showing you something that says that we criticize a thing. For instance, there is too much salt in the soup, and I look at it and I said, see, I found the fault that there's too much salt in the soup. There's nothing you can tell me. All you have to do, all I know, there is too much salt. So you see, criticism just knows how to speak and pick on the fault. So let us talk about the next one, which is correction. I believe correction is also an expression of one's opinion towards a fault, but in this time, not focusing on the fault, but improvement, and not really focusing on condemning the fault, but focusing on the person, trying to make amendments toward concerning against the fault. So when we are talking about correction, we are talking about amendments. So correction is synonymous to amendment. Correction is synonymous to improvement. You see, there's a difference between them. Both of them are similar in expression, as in both of them are expression of one's opinion towards a fault. But one says improvement, which is correction. Correction improves one's fault, try to water down the fault, and shows the person how to come out of that fault. But criticism shows the person the fault, condemning the very act of the fault, condemning the very doing, and that's it. So there are various things we can do, and there are various things we end up doing and not really getting the response. For instance, some persons go with the intention of correcting people and end up criticizing them. So by so doing, the person they are correcting stand in defense to defend themselves. How do they do this? By bringing up unreasonable excuse just to defend themselves, trying to bring up things that the reasons why they did what they did, they had to do it. It is not really because they just want to do it, but because of the way you presented your case. They actually looked at it and said, you're making them look condemned, they are not appreciated for anything. So what they end up doing is find a reason for condemning and find a reason for doing that. So I would like to share with you something. Any person that is correcting any person, if you're correcting a person, the first thing you should notice is this person God has given him a will, so this person has the right to make decisions. This person has the ability to choose whether to take what you say or not. So because of that, I'll tell you, when you correct people, you leave them with an impression so that they can choose from it. You leave them with what we call an influence. You can only influence them, but you can't change them. So let us go to the clear-cut difference. In correction, you end up improving the person, while in criticism, you end up condemning the very act. You end up making the very act so pronounced that it has to be taken care of. In correction, the person feels worthy, feels important. Most times in criticism, these persons are not interested. They don't feel regarded. At the end of the day, you criticize somebody, after you finish criticizing the person doesn't feel worthy, doesn't feel important. Why? There is something that every being has in him. That thing is importance. Every man wants to be relevant in his space, in his place, in his family. So by the time you are talking to somebody, making him feel disregarded, feeling unimportant, you're criticizing. But by the time you're talking to somebody, for instance, there is too much salt in the soup, and you come and you find out that there is too much salt in the soup, you just call the person and tell the person, wow, the last time you cooked, it was very nice, and today it's a little bit salty. I believe you can do better because you have the ability. And by so doing, the person feels very, very important, very valued. You see the person making a change without you forcing the person to do it, without you trying to make the person to see how to do it or trying to change the person yourself. You end up saying that the person will accept it because you've influenced him and made him feel important. But the person that comes and says there are too much salt in the soup, and you end up telling the person how it is so unreasonable for salt to be too much in the soup, you end up making the person to feel how he doesn't know how to cook. You see the person tell you, well, I was cooking, when I was putting the salt, there was no light. I had to put it the way I had to do it because I thought it was enough. And he gives a flimsy excuse trying to defend himself. At the end of the day, you'll find out that the person that is being criticized is not improved. There was no improvement, there was no amendment, he doesn't pay attention to it. Why the person that is being corrected, the next time he's more careful while adding the salt. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the very, very important things we have to understand. There's a thing you have to know, that any person that you correct the person with the intention of making the person feel valued, feel relevant. Everybody wants to feel relevant. You know, I'm in the banking field, so I actually understand certain times when you meet customers that are not interested in the business you come around. So you come around with, you tell them about the business, they're not really interested, but just try to talk with them and make them feel important. You see them start talking about banking business. It's one of the marketing skills. So you can also have that skill if you want to correct somebody, because I have observed that some persons keep saying this thing, they keep complaining, they just come back home and say, I was talking with this person all the way, I was talking to him, trying to correct him, he doesn't even accept me. What kind of a person is that? He doesn't accept correction. But that is not true. If you check the way and manner you talk to the person, your body language, what we call demeanor, you'll find out that you were actually abusive and the person was sensing it. Everybody sensed that. So if you try to correct me, tell me, for instance, you say, Ifeanyi or Samuel, I don't like the fragrance that comes out of you. Okay? But I think you're a nice guy, but there is this presence when you come around people and you tell me something like that. Maturely, I will understand. I understand that I have to start taking my deodorants, and you see. But by the time you come and tell me that, by saying, can't you figure out that you are really not smelling nice? You're smelling bad. At the end of the day, you see, I might not really be interested in what you're saying. In fact, I'll try defending myself. I'll try saying, that smell you got is not really from me. It's actually from you, because I think your mouth is. So you see, the person is trying to defend himself. Somebody might really want to ask me this question, and I believe it's actually an important one. Some person say, what about the word constructive criticism? Yes, it's actually wonderful. But I'll tell you, constructive criticism is also aimed at correcting. So I give a clear-cut distinction between correction and criticism, because both of them are not the same. They are different. They are different terrains. They don't work together. In fact, they are working in opposite paths. Both of them might be aimed at trying to do the same thing, but they're not the same thing. I believe in these few words of mine, I believe you've learned a simple understanding. You've gotten a simple understanding between correction and criticism. And I would like to say thank you for having the time to listen to us, The Excellent Mindset. And we would like you to like our Facebook page, go to our YouTube channel, and subscribe to the channel. I believe you will have a whole lot coming. See you next time. Thank you very much. My name is Ezekiel Faisal. Thank you.